Hello guys, this is Marshgarth this time around. And if it's just the same channel, Mark Traffic might as well be just said like that. But yeah, we got ourselves a Ferrashi with Nutella in it. Oops. But yeah, it helps you focus, I guess, so you want to be a hungry motherfucker. But yeah, here's my memorization almost. But like, just a little joke there. But yeah, really, anyways, in this video, we got a newspaper prop, which doesn't look like much like one, unfortunately, but it's still patience, whatever. And we got a plaque prop with a paper on it, which is like those paper stamp things. This resembles something else. Because this video is going to be about research versus news, or even in a better light, research over news with the crocodile mouths. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about why you should try to research and even use timeless, limited frame, I guess you call them. Well, let's just call them timeless topics. Why you should focus on timeless topics over even things that happen in real time, whether they're fake or not, or fake news or not, or whatever you call that. And we'll dig into all that in a second, so yeah. So, I'm gonna be honest, I was a big softy and sip for my own Chronicle in my city. That says way too much about where I live. But, almost does, but people have different names to their newspaper, but like, I was a big fan of how they did their journaling, their journalism. It could still be like unofficially mainstream, I guess you call it, like if that's even a way you call it that. But like the thing is that I like the idea of journalism. I just wanted to do it more properly as this thing. So when I came across things like agorism and anarchy, it made it way easier, if not truly efficient, to do that. Didn't have to be the only way to, but it was still a good means to put me in a better mindset. So like so when it comes to stuff like that, then it does help to know that I want to be a better researcher and not so much be into news, especially if those news can be skewed. And even when the news doesn't have to be mainstream skewed, it could still be a bit of a hindrance. But the problem, this is what I can get to right away, is that with the problem with the mainstream news in particular, is that if you only have this as your source of understanding of the world, especially even if you think you're using multiple sources, which is still altogether being considered mainstream, they'll tell you to look at things like different mainstream sources for better diversity, and it's still being mainstream. So it doesn't help make it any better. But to be more precise about that, let's just say, for instance, you did use other sources, and they don't only have to be alt sources or alt tech or alt media sources, because there's a bit greater understanding that even alt media sources can still not be foolproof, and that is an understandable truth. But there's a lot of truth to be found on those sites. It's just that they don't have to only be right, and that is true in itself. But the problem with mainstream news is that you can only find enough information from them that supports what could be plausible, and that's the bare minimum for what you might not be lied about. If that doesn't make sense to you right now, let me just put it like this. You notice how in the mainstream news they focus on negativity and they don't have to focus on the positive stuff only until it feels like a sugarcoat later on. That doesn't have to be done like that. Even if it feels like the news is covering too many negative things to cover the truth as an excuse, a lame excuse like that, it clearly doesn't have to be done like that. That's already the bare minimum critical thinking you need to do for the day. I'm not trying to brag about that though, because I don't know enough about certain things like the news myself. But what I'm trying to emphasize, however, is how research can go above that and beyond. I'm a bragger or a weird cliche, I guess, but with research, like you see what like the content I make nowadays on Marshcraft, and you see what the things I do on things that aren't even just about agorism and anarchy. It's like I don't have to do political video essays on this channel. Obviously, I did memes before. I did even if they even be more relevant, I even did videos about the other channels. But back to the topic, my point is that research is timeless, and you can have a way to approach things that happen in the real world, even in real time, like the news, let alone mainstream understandings. But it doesn't have to be limited by the things that happen according to whatever media sources you're told about in the meantime, whether they're right or wrong. Research, as timeless as it is, some people may not like timelessness, but in my opinion, and even by fact, I guess, I hope I can connect this better without being full of shit. Well, like, research will allow you to approach things, yes, through a timeless lens, but also through a way where you don't have to find facts and evidence to be at a fault every once in a while if they literally are true or factual. It's like, it makes sense out of that, not sound like a scrawled idiot. Uh, let's just say that you research a topic about vegetables and you want to find out more about vegetables and you find the timeless information about it without thinking about all the negative things in the world happening in real time in the present about vegetables around the world. You don't have to be full of that negativity right away. Even if there's positive news about it that is factual that you find on mainstream or alt sources, you don't have to depend on that while you do your research. And if you're making the content for a video, you don't need the footage from the news to fill that in all the time. Even if you want to rely on it every once in a while, it shouldn't have to be done strictly out of that. And so you have research being able to be timeless and even forgiving for the things that may or may not always be in real time. But you'll be able to do that research for the video, and you won't have to be compromised by things that are even true or factual or evident. And that's why I hope you guys will understand. I'm not saying that research is only better than news. It's just that there's a big difference between whether or not, this is very much how these things can be done better without only being this or that. And that's what I got for now. They got so much research over news, or at least in contrast with. And yeah, thank you guys very much.